Wow. Welcome to Targeted, the show for masculinity and success. And I'm your host, Atlas Aultman, former military commander turned best-selling author, now bringing you a podcast that you can use for sharing stories from highly successful men so that you can figure it out for yourself. Welcome. This is Targeted. People don't see you until you win.
Bingo.
And you can expedite a win anytime you want. You just have to put in the work and find the right people to give you the advice to do it. Finding the right people is the hardest thing.
Absolutely.
Yes.
You know, because everyone's got an agenda, man. Everyone's got an agenda. Especially in this world, there's a lot of people that talk. There's a lot of talkers.
Yeah.
But yeah, doing an extra mile. Like Lombardi says, conditioning makes cowards of us all.
Yeah.
So that extra mile don't matter.
I think I might have felt like I wanted to quit more times doing conditioning than I've ever felt in sparring, in this and that. When there's another external factor and you have to go and but when it's just you and you are running and you feel your lungs are on fire, your legs feel like they're lead, and you have an objective. That's one aspect of it. And then the other aspect is when there's no objective. My favorite thing is, are you willing to sprint when the distance is unknown? Because if I have to dangle a fucking carrot in front of your head every time, that means you are externally motivated.
Yeah.
All the time. It's okay if it's used, but I go back to something that I've been saying for years. Motivation is like the keys to a car. It can get it started, but cars don't run on keys. They run on fuel.
That's good. That's really deep, man. I love that.
He got some good quotes, man.
Yeah.
He's got some solid one-liners, honestly. He does, man.
Yeah.
He does.
It's like he was raised with somebody who gave him a solid one-liner.
That shit rubbed off on him, bro. He'll say some shit sometimes, and I'm like, I'm going to use that for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, and you do probably.
I do. What his mom said, he told me, he said it to me first, what your mom said, like, about problems and solutions.
Yeah.
Like I approach my relationship like that. I don't bring up a problem unless I have a solution. Like me and my fiance, anytime we have a problem, I talk about it, and I don't bring up a problem unless I have a solution already. I'm not going to sit here and be like, hey, well, you're doing this right here.
Yeah.
And she's just like, well, you're doing this. Yeah. And I'm like, well, you do this. And I hate the way your feet smell. You know what I'm saying? Like,
or whatever it is.
Yeah, or whatever that is. Yeah.
You don't hate the way her feet smell.
But I got to bring up a solution.
That's
I'm like,
one liner from the movie.
I'm like, where's the gold bond? Where's the gold bond?
Stop with the radio voice. This dude with the radio voice.
Yeah. That's awesome. No, the philosophy's got to be different for folks like us. And you're absolutely true. You don't think about something and like, oh, that's a problem. I'm gonna go to bed.
Yeah.
That ain't how it works.
No. It shouldn't be.
Yeah. No, it isn't.
It shouldn't
be. Stuff probably keeps you up, and you're thinking about the problems and solution. That's purely men. Men do that. Women think about problems, and then they'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Men have a hard time doing that because it's vulnerable.
Yep.
I'm not a believer in vulnerability. I'm just going to put that right out there, man.
In what way?
Vulnerability?
You don't believe?
I don't believe in showing weakness.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Like vulnerability, if you look in the thesaurus, it says weak, taking away your armor. Vulnerable is not a good thing for
being
man.
Exposed.
Yeah, well, even exposed is not. It's not in the thesaurus as vulnerability. Vulnerability points to a straight up weakness. Mm-hmm. So,
what would you consider a weakness, or being vulnerable?
Yeah,
give me an incident, because I think I disagree with you.
Yeah, no,
I like this. Yeah, I like this.
And I hope you can come up with something for people to think about, because this is seriously. This is a word that gets thrown around that no one really thinks about.
Yeah.
Like why is this word being used?
Yeah.
Vulnerability to me is if I'm showing you vulnerability in a war theory, that is something that I see as a weakness that I do not want you to know about.
Okay.
So ancient Chinese you go back to Sun Tzu, The Art of War, and he talks about being big when you were small, being small when you were big.
Yeah.
So these are all deception techniques. When I think about vulnerability, I think straight up deception. Like how I'm weak
should not be something that you know about. Yet people take it and they twist it and they say, you should be honest with people. And they say honesty is vulnerability, and honesty is not vulnerability. Honesty is honesty.
Yes.
Yeah.
So where someone would look at me and say I'm vulnerable in a story, it was like when I got hit in the face by the Secret Service in Indonesia. Those guys wanted to kill me. And I was wearing a little diplomatic badge. I couldn't touch them. And I'm a combatives instructor. I wrestled, you know. I had just come out of a combat unit. I had a Bronze Star from Iraq. I worked as a bouncer through college. That's how I made my living. I can definitely pretzel you up. Don't stop this.
Yeah.
You know, but that was the first time I was not allowed to use violence. That's when I found vulnerability. Because that was a weakness.
Yeah.
I don't know how to answer things without violence.
Now you got to think.
Yeah. And that, so I had to get out of the situation. And that, to me, it's vulnerability. It's a weakness that I show, but it's something that I know how to deal with.
Yeah.
But like that was vulnerable. That's where I would say that's a vulnerability story. The things that I wouldn't tell you are things that I have problems with, like that I deal with in my head.
Yeah.
Because that's for me. That's for me and my higher power.
I think that's a thing that I'm learning as a growing man, particularly in relationships with women.
Yeah.
I
wouldn't tell them anything.
I'm 33.
Don't tell them anything.
I'm 33. I've had.
If you have, stop it.
I'm learning, bro. I'm learning. I'm 33, and every woman wants to know more.
Yeah.
And I'm learning that less is more.
Less
because I'm like, I got serious demons. I got serious shit that when I tell you, I feel like I'm just revoicing shit, and if I don't have a solution for it, then, but I do have a solution for it, and you're just gonna tell me how you feel about it, or how I should feel about it, or why do you feel about it, and why do I like, yo, I'm turning my shit into positive. All right.
Yeah.
A man in my book, I literally wrote it down, void of what everybody thinks a man is. I said, Moon, what do you think a man is? Deep down in your soul and your spirit, what do you think a man is? It needs to be clear, concise words, because you just unknowingly did exactly what I told you I learned growing up. You said vulnerability. Well, first, it's this word. This is what it means. This is where it comes. You just did that, so you have an understanding of what the word means. Me and him disagree on a lot of things. But men, we can do that. Yeah. I can respectfully say, I don't agree with your perspective, but he's like, hey, that's how I see it. That's how you see it.
That's fine.
I should be offended by that, by the way.
No,
not at all.
You should.
You grow that way.
Because if you're only yes, man. Yeah, I only hang around with friends that just stay out with it. Just, bro, you weak as fuck, bro. That's your vulnerability. Yeah. You need a bunch of people to fluff you on your way to the top. Yeah. It's fake.
Well, you ain't never gonna make it, by the way.
Right? You ain't never gonna make it.
No.
It's all an illusion.
That ain't how it works.
But for me, word I hate that people use all the time, especially in relationships. You already know what the fuck I'm about to say.
Said another day.
Compromise.
There's no such thing as compromise.
No, fuck that. Compromise. People say, oh, you and your woman or you and your partner should compromise. I'm like, for what? That's good. I say, okay, cool. You got a security system and they call you and say it's compromised.
I mean, somebody snuck
somebody in your house
and it's not working.
You in war. Your defenses are compromised. The enemy is in. You have to give something up. They found a hole in your system. Yep. That's not a compromise. I prefer to say, let's come to a resolution. This is a win-win. And if we're on the same team, we want to go in the same direction. It does not mean it comes without a sacrifice, because if you go back to what I said before, there is no problem-free solution. So we can have a resolution and we can agree to disagree on things. Yeah. I don't compromise. And every time I have in a relationship,
bitch in the ass.
You compromised your way out of it.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm single. It became compromised, and I'm single. So I'm a man. I stand on my beliefs and have conviction in it. Yeah. And my brain does not operate. He has helped me with this. He said, bro, you're not normal. Yeah. And the more you try to fit in, the more you're gonna have to feel like a fucking. I feel like a. If you take the image of I'm very like symbolic. I love symbolism of a werewolf. The transformation is painful. They say it's like the skin is on fire and they're ripping it off so they can be what's truly inside. Yeah. And that's how I feel when I try and fit in. I'm like, these people are just fucking, I can't think like they think. Like, that's how I feel in my head. Like, what do you mean just be average? Just go with the flow. It makes me want to just rip this shit off. And then he has to let me know, like, hey, you could be a werewolf, but just,
be a nice werewolf.
put a fucking put a tux on,
Put a
dog.
tux on,
Like,
yeah.
you slap somebody and they missing a rib cage, because when
Yeah.
I'm in fight mode, there is no room for feelings for me. I use the feelings. I don't let them use me. You see me emotional, or if I need to call on this or that and the third, but it's not a sense like when I'm talking to somebody, I'll be like, man, you full of shit. They be like, oh yeah, I'm getting close to fight time because I'm cutting all the bullshit. It's objective based. And I have an objective, and I believe men in life need an objective, or whatever you call it, their purpose, because it gives them guidance in life. Because if you're out there just wandering, you're going to go wherever everybody else goes.
People who don't have an objective, men especially, they find comforts to give them pleasures. That's it.
Absolutely.
That's absolutely right.
I like what you said about like the word compromise, and I actually stole that from him. Like me and my fiance, we don't use compromise. How can we meet in the middle? That's what we ask ourselves.
Okay.
Whenever there's a problem, she'll say it or I'll say it. She'll be like, how can we meet in the middle? I'm like, okay, I'm going to have to give something up. That means you're going to have to give something up. And we're both either going to get what we want, or both we're going to get a piece of what we want.
Yeah.
But we're going to have to give something up, because that happy wife, happy life shit, I don't believe in it. I don't believe in that shit.
That's not true.
I don't believe in it.
Well,
Because
women don't work like that, by the way. So the more vulnerable you become, or if you compromise, then they see you as weak. And women want strong men.
absolutely.
Because men, the only thing they're really good at is defense and protection, and making sure that the people that are around them can be safe and happy,
Absolutely.
whatever.
Protecting, providing, producing. That's what I believe a man is.
That's what we talk about all the time. Those are the 3 layers of being a man: protect, provide, and procreate or produce. Like that's what we're here to do.
Yeah. Well, produce goes not just for procreation; it's doing what we're doing right now.
Absolutely.
This is the biggest thing. I said protect and provide are for the family. Produce is the mission, right?
For sure.
And this is my theory on it, right? I had this theory. I even expressed this to my mom, my sisters, my nieces. I said, this is what my belief. You don't have to believe it. I said, women have the gift of God. They can bring a whole nother child into this world. Yeah. Men cannot. We have to make things. We have to create things. You have the ability to create something, literally.
In your body.
In your body. If you look at everything that we create, it's all external, but it's driven from this thing inside. And I feel like we produce shit. It's not that a woman can't produce. And that's the issue with whenever you go pro something, people think you're against the other side. Why can't both sides be right? Yeah. Right? Just because I'm right doesn't mean you're wrong. Well, in a sense, hear me out. If there was a letter like,
I'm with you. I'm 100% with you.
Okay. And that's how I feel about perspective. If there's a great image of a 6 and a 9 here, and I'm saying this is a 9, and you're saying that's a 6, and I'm like, if I just stood over there and saw it from your perspective, you're right. And if you stood over here and saw it, it's like, it's just a matter of how you see things. Yeah, for sure. All right, but we can't negate facts, or
Well, so a CIA spy tactic is perspective. Whenever you start to have issues with anyone.
Yeah.
You start to figure out where they're coming from. You'll be able to see where you can communicate more effectively. And that's the best way to do it. So like when I was working with other countries, I would ask them questions, and then I would roll back what they would tell me, just for confirmation I heard it right. Mm-hmm. And they would do kind of what we did in this podcast, where you told me what you did. You told me how your dad did stuff, and then I rolled it around and made sure I understood it. Then you called me out on it. But that's what podcasting is. It's just how do I communicate better? How do I get deeper into this whole thing? Yeah. And that CIA tactic is something you can use in anything. Yeah. Like whenever you start to feel that confrontation, do exactly what you did. I think we might disagree. I'd like to hear what you say. Yeah. But now let's hear your thoughts. What is vulnerability?
Well, at first I thought you were going in a different direction, and I wasn't going to agree with you at face value. But then when you dove into it, I agreed with you 100%, because I believe that he's got demons, you got demons, I got demons, Lenny's got demons. Yeah. We all got things inside of us that we won't tell anybody. Yeah. There's things inside of this brain that this shit's like, this ain't nobody getting in here. It ain't getting out. you know,
We all have it.
and that's just, it's going to stay in there.
Yeah.
And that's what I have to tell my fiance too. When we first got together, I said, look, there are going to be things inside of this brain that you will never know. And she was like, but I want to know. And I was like, no, you don't.
No, you don't.
I was like, no, you don't. I was like, and if I told you, you wouldn't understand. I was like,
They'll just come back and talk to you about whatever it is that you told them. That's how it comes out.
and I refuse to have that. Somebody throw something in my face.
That's what
But
happens.
I know my weaknesses and I know where I struggle at. And I refuse to be vulnerable in that sense. So when you talk about it like that, I completely understand and I completely agree.
Yeah, I don't like,
you know?
I don't like weaknesses, man.
Yeah, man.
Men shouldn't be going around telling that.
You gotta purge that shit out.
There's a way to do it, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, so, and I've talked to shrinks. I've been ordered to talk to shrinks for some of the things that I was exposed to, if you want to say it that way. Some of our life experiences, they change, but, you know, if you're ready for it, it makes a whole lot of difference.
Yeah.
And so, you know, even the shrinks would be like, I understand what you saw, but you seem like you're dealing with it just fine. I'm like, oh, I'm fine. I'm good to go because I know what I'm doing here.
We just had a conversation earlier today. I'm a firefighter back home. So, you know, see a lot of crazy shit, whatever, right? But I have a specific trait of disassociation. I disassociate better than anybody you probably fucking know.
Okay.
Don't bother me.
How do you do that?
Well, for one, I got a pretty bad memory, so
That helps.
I don't know why, but I got a terrible memory. So
Lathan Dory over here.
I know, right? I don't remember certain calls that I go on. Okay. I guess my body just kicks them out of my head, and maybe they'll come up later in life. I don't know, right?
That's usually what happens.
Yeah, and that's what they say. But you know, I have a pretty good way of disassociating. But the way that I live my life is I don't cross my life. So my firefighter life is my firefighter life.
Yeah.
My martial arts journey, that's me. That's my martial arts journey. And that's probably the most purest form of myself.
Okay.
Honestly. My relationship is my relationship with me and my girl.
Yeah.
You know, and then my friends and my social life are another different aspect. The minute that I start blending two can cross. 3 is too much for me. I can't have that because
Do you stop it?
Yeah, I do. I put a halt to it.
So how do you say this is too much?
So I've had a girlfriend in the past that used to work at the gym that I was training at, right?
Okay, yeah.
I thought it was a good idea.
Yeah,
Terrible idea.
Bad idea.
Terrible
Very
idea.
bad. Yes. So
Absolutely terrible.
now you know.
Now I know. So if my fiance wants to train or, hey, I want to, I'm like, nope, you can't come in my space.
Okay.
And you definitely ain't working with me.
Yeah.
So that eliminates two out of the 4 right there.
Yeah.
Now we can have a social life together because we will be married, and your friends will be my friends will be your friends. We'll mingle together, and so we can have a social life, and you are my relationship. But 3 of these will not blend. My social life, my friends, like he knows some of my firefighter. He knows a lot of my firefighter buddies, but he don't come to work with me.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Makes sense.
He don't come to work with me. I don't talk about work with him.
Yeah, that was something that in 10 years of friendship. Yeah, it's 24 or 10 years of friendship now.
Yeah.
It's like, as well as I know him, we don't talk about his firefighting stuff. I think maybe we've had 3 conversations in 10 years about firefighting stuff. And it's because I said something, or there might have been like someone else mentioned something. And that's where you can say we're so much alike, but on a deeper level, we are completely different.
Absolutely.
Great
memory.
part of my, I don't want to say issue, but it's a double-edged sword. It's a strength, and I don't know if it's a weakness, or say a weakness like in a vulnerability sense, but it's hard. It's my whole life intertwines because the martial artist and the fighter both do similar things, and I don't get into relationships because of my fight career. And if it does happen, it has to be, this is my purpose and you're not in it, everything over. And then my family supports my journey, but I've kicked family out of my life because of my journey. And it's like all overwhelming. And we've all been through, I'm pretty sure we've all been through some sort of depression at one point in time. And does. 2 weeks before I took my first loss ever, I went to my first session of therapy. And when I wrote my intake form, because you had to like do a little thing, hey, like, you know, what are all stuff? I knew exactly what the problem was. He told me, he said, bro, you need a hobby. You need something. Because literally was like, well, what do you do for a living? Oh, I fight, train martial arts. What are your hobbies? I fight and train martial arts. And what do you do when you're stressed out? I fight and train martial arts. And everything kept going back to that. So then now that I have stuff going on in my life that's intersecting with my training. It's now affecting the training room and my relationships in this. And so when it hits fucking, it's the domino that just like, what do you call it? The crack that breaks the dam. And it's like, oh, and then now I have to go through this rebuilding process of building the dam or flow, whatever, reservoir, whatever you want to call it, analogy wise. But I've had to learn to associate and disassociate, because I believe one of my gifts is connections. Yeah. But sometimes having everything too connected is not good.
And I'm not saying what I do is healthy.
No.
I'm not saying what I do by like separating my life.
Bucket.
It's just they're in different buckets. And that's how I deal with it.
So Green put it, it's a Shakespeare quote that a lot of people say all the time. They say, I'm a jack of all trades and a master of none, which is better most of the times than a master of one. Mm-hmm. That's the full quote. Yeah. But people usually say jack of all trades.
Yep.
So whenever you can do a different hobby or whatever it is, you can separate yourself from that environment. They say it's helpful. But bro, man, I've tried so many damn hobbies. Yeah. I gotta tell you,
finding my way back to martial arts.
In the whole sense of it, I want to help other people, man.
Yeah.
But people don't see me like that. They see me as whoever I am, and then strong identities happen. Like firefighters, they have a strong identity with firefighting, and then they retire. Yeah. People say, "What do you do?" How do you answer that? People now, they ask me like, hey, what do you do? And I have a hard time answering. I'm a podcaster, an author, whatever, because for almost 3 decades, I was in the most elite units I could be in the military. And I identified with being a very fit, capable, competent person that surrounded myself with fit, capable, and competent people. And whenever I was around people who weren't fit, capable, and competent, I didn't know what to do.
I don't fit in. Yeah. Werewolf.
It's an identity.
Yeah.
It's you, because you are who you are, and you can't change who you are. So you can distract yourself, but you come right back to it.
Yeah.
You always come right back to it. And for a life of service, it's a little bit easier for you to find hobbies that are going to entertain you for a little bit. Mm-hmm. But dude, you're not going to find them like you got now, man. You're going to be in the life you have right now is the life you're going to live.
Yeah.
Same thing with you, man.
So that's the beauty of like, for me, mixed martial arts is it's the same thing but different. Yeah. So in Thailand they say same but different. Yeah. So I have this beautiful jiu-jitsu journey that I've learned so much, and I'm continuing to learn. Yeah. And then I have this beautiful Muay Thai journey that I'm learning, continuing to learn. Then I have this beautiful teaching journey that I'm learning, continuing to learn. Then I have this beautiful fight journey, and he's the one. We literally talked about this on the way here. I was like, bro, he would be like, man, I'm gonna take a break from jiu-jitsu. Not that I'm not gonna train it, but I'm not gonna train it 5 days a week. I'm gonna do 2 days a week so I can focus more on my kickboxing. Sure. And I was like, bro, I can't do that. I gotta do it all the time. And then now, like, I'm 13 years as a martial artist, 10-year, first one, 2016. So about 8 years of competing. Yeah. Now competing at a high level, like the body takes damage.
It does.
So it's like, are you going to do everything every day and gain nothing? Diminished returns.
Well, I tell you, man, the older fighters that you meet, you're going to look at them different.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
you're like, okay,
superpower.
Is this where I'm going to be? And you know, they look hurt sometimes. You know, you're like,
that conversation.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So I mean, I hang out with some older guys. I'll hang out with some older guys, and if it wasn't for pills, I wouldn't be able to do life.
Yeah.
Thank God for pills. Because like without those things, man, I would definitely be a different person, because I put my body through hell. I was an athlete for 33
Oh, I thought you meant Viagra. My bad. I'm sorry.
It's a pill, baby.
Wrong pill, wrong time.
It fits in with another P.
Yeah, right pill, wrong time.
I mean, I'm sure a lot of people could answer that.
Hey.
That's life changing.
I believe so, man.
But yeah, when you break your body, it's different. It's different.
It is, man.
It changes you. But you'll be all right. There's an identity that's deeper than what you're experiencing right now that you both have. And that's the reason why I wanted you on the show.
This is awesome.
Just to share some of your life wisdom. and get it out into the world. And this is going to be great, man. This is going to be a great show. So we're going to end the show with one quote that could change your life. You could use a word, a quote. You can do a philosophy, anything that you want that would be, let me tell you something. If you knew something when you were younger, that's a very popular one.
Mm-hmm.
What would you tell a younger self? Like for me, it is like watch more movies. No, I'm just kidding.
I have a whole movie collection, 1,500 DVDs.
Do you?
Yes,
Yes,
I
yes.
love movies.
I love the old movies, man. They don't make them like they used to. I used to spend a lot more time on them.
It did.
And then the words that came out of those movies, like I watched "It's a Wonderful Life" for the first time ever this Christmas season. And I was freaking writing some quotes down.
It's good.
It's amazing.
It's good.
The things that they put in there. So that would be something I would tell myself if I was younger. Marines got that down. They love watching that.
Firefighters do too.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
I have something that just sticks out.
Let's go.
And different parts of my life change, but my personal quote is it's a good day to be alive, but an even better day to be great. And then I added a little to it. So get up and get to the grind, whatever that is for you, because my grind isn't your grind. But short thing that I would say, you can interchange this last word, is pain is the gatekeeper of destiny, or you can say pain is the gatekeeper of greatness. It's the only way you're going to get there. There is no other way. So if I had to tell myself when I was young, I'm not a sadist in the fact like, but I chased that, this one hurt, I got to do one more. And I was doing it right, and I would just go right back to me and just tell it like, pain is the gatekeeper of greatness. Like, it's the gatekeeper. You got to get through it, and it's a prerequisite.
Yeah, it's great, man.
Endure.
That is so great.
If I could talk to my younger self, man, this is always an emotional thing to talk about because I remember who I was when I was a kid, and obviously we're not who we were. You know what I'm saying? We're who we are, but like I remember how weak I was as a kid. Like I remember just being a fucking pussy and just being afraid of combat. That's why I started fighting, because I was afraid. I was afraid people were gonna hurt me, and I started fighting and made myself a hard motherfucker because I was so afraid. But if I could talk to my younger self, one word that comes to my mind is just Kaizen. Just 1% better every fucking day.
Yeah, Kaizen. Yeah, I
Just
like that.
every single day, 1% better.
It's a great philosophy. Samurai's nailed it with that one.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for your time and your wisdom. You poured out a lot. This is going to be an amazing time for a lot of people, but you've just upped their life. And I want to say thank you, gentlemen, for being in the studio, World Studio, Targeted Podcast. Where can we find you if we're looking for you to do a seminar, to see your next fight, to see some coaching wisdom? Instagram? Yeah.
Instagram, Amun, AMUN _ Cosme, COSME _ MMA. But website, AmunCosme.com. It has all my links to everything, Talking to the Moon podcast, online coaching. It'll have fight events. You can contact me through there. So most active on Instagram. Shoot me a DM. I answer everything.
Okay. Now it's you right now.
It's
Sometimes your
always,
team.
no, it's always me.
Always you.
For me, authenticity is real. And I had people say, "Well, you got 8,000 followers. I just wanted to make sure." I'm like, bro, that's nothing. For me, it's about creating and building relationships. If I can't get to you now because I'm busy, cool. But when I'm messaging you, it's me. It will never be anyone in charge of my personal. I have a business one. That's something different. Yeah. But my personal, Amun Cosme, that's me.
Yeah.
You're not talking to anyone but me.
All right. So just want everyone to know, if they're reaching out to you, it may take a day or two because you do get a lot of messages.
Yeah.
Okay.
Find me on Instagram at it's Lathon. It's _ Lathon. We're going to be doing a lot more seminars this year.
Yeah.
So if you're looking to get a seminar, you're looking to learn some cool shit. We're both going back to Thailand in April.
Yes,
so we're going to come back with some cool stuff.
Nice.
Hashtag
both.
Ooey.
Yeah, we both train jiu-jitsu on the regular with each other at different gyms sometimes. Yep. We have great instructors, so we know what we're talking about. MMA, me and him are kid and play.
Yeah.
It is what it is. So
And it rhymes.
book us for a seminar, man.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, thank you again, gentlemen,
Thank
for
you,
coming
man.
in.
Appreciate it.
And if you are listening, stay tuned. We have another great episode with Colonel that's planning the fight against China. So stay tuned for that.
Stay with us as we stay on target with another awesome episode coming up next. We'll see you there. And subscribe to Targeted Now. As an ambassador to buckedup.com, I get to give you our special discount. That's Atlas 25 when you go to buckedup.com to get that special discount. Only for our listeners, Atlas 25. Go to buckedup.com now.